Hello and welcome back to the NWR Virtual Investor Conference. I'm Andrew Gager from Ausbiz. Great that you can join us. Our next company is Vonex. It's a full-service, award-winning telecommunications service provider selling mobile, internet, traditional fixed lines, and hosted PBX and VoIP services, predominantly to the small to medium enterprise customer under the Vonex brand. The company also provides wholesale customers, such as internet service providers, access to the core Vonex PBX and call termination services at wholesale rates via a white label model. Vonex also develops new technologies in the telco industry, including a feature-rich cloud-hosted PBX system. And it's also developing the Operator app, a multi-platform real-time voice messaging and social media app that allows users to connect with all social media friends, followers, and contacts across different social media, all consolidated into one app. Just a reminder, if you'd like to ask questions at the end of the presentation, do so by using the Q&A panel on your screen. Well, let me now introduce Vonex Managing Director, Matt Fay. Matt.
Thanks, Andrew, and welcome everybody. There's a couple of things I'll want to do today. One is to introduce the Vonex business for those that are not familiar with the company and give you some background. And two is to talk about a material transaction that we're just in the process of final stages of completion now. So as was well described there, Vonex is a telecommunications business that services SME customers. Our core strength lies in our innovation, software development, and voice engineering skill set, which dates back some time. The business, whilst officially founded in 2009, really started before that, some sort of 15 plus years ago, where our very technical founder, who was quite visionary, was trying to sell to business customers business systems, as in servers in the cloud, in a self-made data center from a Perth residence, and he was trying to entice SMEs to use his services. Now, whilst he was definitely on the right track back in those days, unfortunately the internet wasn't quite as far advanced as he was. So what he did was he turned his attention to voice services using voice over IP technology, which were greatly different in terms of price points for those SME customers in those days. There was huge cost reduction, and that certainly caught their interest. And his hope was that that would then enable him to sell his original product lines. What happened in reality is that was the beginning of the voice business, and the server idea got left behind. Now, what was correctly identified back then was, in order for a business customer to have their communication systems in the cloud, the important piece of equipment that would need to be software driven and live in the cloud was the main equipment of the phone system. So if you think of a traditional phone system that lives on the premises of a business customer, it has handsets, and those handsets are connected back to a piece of equipment that would, in the past, be programmed by a technician. It would be installed physically in the premises and programmed by a technician to provide all the functionality that the business is looking for. It's that box that essentially, was recognised that would need to be virtualised, and that's essentially exactly what Vonex is, a software version of that box on the wall. So our customers, their handsets talk directly to our network, which is living in data centres via voice over IP, via the internet technology from their premises, and they talk to a customised version of a software phone system that's been built specifically for them and programmed to feature all of their needs. In 2009, this technology, which lives at the core of our business, was released as a wholesale product, and it was sold as a white labeled piece of technology to other telcos. So those telcos would go to market under their own brands, and Vonex would be the technology that underpinned their product. We met Vonex a little bit after that release in 2009, in late 2010, and at that time I was running a telecommunications business that was more in the traditional sense. We were targeting the SMEs, but we were selling those SMEs traditional landlines and mobile and internet type products. In 2011, you may recall that Brisbane suffered a tragic flood event, and that telecommunications business that we were operating had a premises that was right on the riverbank. So our business went completely underwater. And fortunately for us, it was Vonex that really came to the rescue and essentially built us very quickly a cloud-based version of our entire phone system setup. And that enabled our staff, including our call center staff, who were the team of people answering the phone for the business customers all over the country, to be online and to essentially, work from wherever they were able to work from. And really that back in 2011 was an amazing experience for me personally. Certainly rescued our business and was a light bulb moment in terms of what the future of communications looked like for business customers. What that led to by 2013 was essentially the merging of those two businesses. And that's what we look at today. The Vonex Group has a direct business, which stems from that business in 2013 that was the subject of the merger, and the wholesale business that we continue to go to market to wholesale customers. By 2018, we successfully listed the business on the ASX, and since then have done a number of strategic things to help our continued focus on organic growth to SME customers, wholesale growth, and more recently turning towards acquisitions. One of those key things was establishing ourselves as an exclusive merchant in the Qantas Business Rewards program. Now, what that means in simple terms is a business version of the Qantas Frequent Flyer program, where the small business customer under their business entity is actually the member, and it's the business earning the rewards. We're the only telco in that program, and the reason it was attractive for us is Qantas Business Rewards currently has 350,000 SME members on their books. So what we've had the luxury of doing since we joined that program is directing our marketing efforts to a very targeted audience of SME customers, which has been a great way to assist us with lead generation and brand awareness. We focus on the SME customer because we identified early on they're a very underserviced customer group. The larger telcos seem to fail to really get their messages home to those businesses and provide them the sort of levels of support that they need. The larger telcos seem to be very successful in the consumer and the enterprise spaces, but seem to find it's very difficult to find the economies of scale to service the SME customers. So we've been focusing on that group for a long time. And the way that we reach them is we reach them through partners. So we have channel partners in place. Now, typically a channel partner to us is a local IT company or a local communications business that will already be dealing with those SME customers and potentially managing IT related services or products for them. And what we do is we introduce them to our product and we train them to onboard those business customers. So that really is our sales force and our support mechanism, which enables us to get the levels of customer satisfaction from those SME customers. And then we've turned our attention to acquisitions in more recent times to really accelerate the growth of the company and broaden our reach into that customer group. The first two acquisitions, the first one was 2SG Wholesale last year, which is the name we will suggest, was a direct expansion of our wholesale business. It brought with it a very sophisticated network and some carrier connections that have been vitally important to the group, and enabled us to deliver products in both the internet and the mobile voice and mobile broadband space with capability that we didn't have before that. It really was very complementary in that sense. It sits next to our voice network, and it really gives us full control over the quality and delivery and margin that we can see coming from those products. The second acquisition was at the beginning of this year. It was a company called Nextel in Sydney. Again, that was a capability addition. So Nextel had capability well beyond their size. We recognized that early in the piece. They are an infrastructure and tech support sort of company that had grown from the traditional phone system equipment space. They're very much hardware and hands-on technicians. What that business has done for us is added two things. One, The capability to support customers joining Vonex and buying the hosted PBX from us, because where some of our partners have capability to assist the customer on premise, not all of them do. So we're able to offer those services, and those services typically might be where the customer requires some work on their internal network, cabling, sockets on walls, those sorts of things, equipment in their racks, switches, hardware, etc. And it's also enabled us to go and tender for new work that was work that we'd never really been involved in before, which is brand new infrastructure projects. Nextel actually had fiber optic cable laying and splicing and connectivity equipment and skills in the business too. So that was a great addition. And now we're just in the final stages of completing the third acquisition in that period of about 18 months. And this acquisition is highly exciting for us. This is a real step change for the Vonex business, really enhances our capability. And it is the direct, or part of the direct business from the MyNet phone group. The part of the business that we've bought is the part that services the SME and consumer customers. The acquisition will provide us with an additional $15 million in annual revenue. And importantly, will elevate our earnings by 5 to 6 million of annual EBITDA. It's strategically very important for us in terms of scaling the business up. This adds 16,000 new customers. It also adds 180 new channel partners. And importantly, the business is able to expand into the New South Wales and the Victorian territories in a meaningful way. The Vonex business combined was originally founded in Perth and in Brisbane. And the M&F business has predominantly operated in those southern state territories. So this brings a team of staff and a lot of channel partners and customer presence in those territories, which will enable us to really expand on what we're successfully doing to date. The complementary nature of the products and services sold to the customers are MyNet Phone is also a hosted PBX and voice over IP business, and have targeted the SMEs through that channel partner modeling. So it's a highly complementary addition. And like us, they charge the customers in a reoccurring way. So the revenue is very similar in that it's fixed monthly reoccurring revenue, which is has high quality margin, but also very, very sticky for us. So the scale benefits here show that the customer increase. The channel partner expansion is significant. We currently have 275 channel partners on our network in the direct business. This will take that number out to 400 plus and provide that geographic expansion. Terrific team of experienced staff coming with the business based in New South Wales and Victoria. And as described before, a revenue base, which is very reoccurring in nature, and predominantly coming from those high margin voice services. When I look at what we look like post completion, the combined business on an FY21 pro forma basis shows annual revenue of just shy of 34 million and an EBITDA number of 6.3 million. And when we look at that sort of post some initial synergies from this business, we've got a deal, an enterprise value multiplication of just sub 5 to that EBITDA profile. Key metrics across the business, all showing terrific improvement post completion of this transaction. Significant revenue increase, significant EBITDA increase. Our annual recurring revenue, which is something that we've focused on publishing the continual improvement on, takes a step change. Our profit margins increase, our distribution channel partner numbers increase, and our customer base increases significantly, particularly on the SME side, where we see our existing SME base grow from 3,300 SME clients to in excess of 8,500. So that's just over 5,000 of new SME customers coming in. The annual recurring revenue of the business has been growing nicely. The step change in Q3 of 20 was the 2SG wholesale acquisition. As you can see from this this graphic on the screen, the increase to the annual recurring revenue is significant. An additional 13 million will take the annual recurring revenue number out to approximately 32 million annually. The current product range, whilst I've spoken a lot about hosted phone systems and voice over IP technology, which certainly underpins what we do, the business also has a high strength in mobile, in 5G products that are rolling out now, in various business grade internet and NBN products, conferencing, and consumer products. And with that collective product range, we see a key opportunity post completion of this transaction. What we're looking at here is a breakdown of the types of products that the customers buy, both in the existing Vonex business and in the part of the MyNetPhone business, which is labeled direct business here, which services those SME and consumer businesses. And what we can see is a key difference in the uptake of products outside of voice. So the voice services on the Vonex base, 90% of customers buy a voice service. On the direct business, 82% buy a voice service. So there's a high concentration of voice services there. But within the Vonex group, 18% of the customers buy mobile services, and 56% currently buy internet services. Now, in contrast, the direct business that we're purchasing only sees 4% with a mobile service and only sees 7% with an internet service. So we see a key opportunity there, which is essentially rolling out a strategy that's already in place. So we would regard it as a cross-sell opportunity, but it's not a new invention. It's rolling out a product suite to a channel partner network and enabling them to deliver it to this customer base in the same way that Vonex has arrived here to date. And that we see a clear opportunity to see great uplift in the customers who bundle these different products and in turn deliver a significant change to the ARPU of the customers across the base. The strategy that we've used with these channel partners is working. This graphic shows Net Promoter Score. Net Promoter Score is a standard instrument to measure the satisfaction of customers. As you can see, the Telstra and Optus Net Promoter Scores are considerably lower than the Net Promoter Scores we're achieving, and in most cases they struggle to sort of reach the industry benchmark. Vonex has a very strong Net Promoter Score. Anything above 30 is considered a very good result. We're currently in the mid 50s and continuing to grow, which just really amplifies that the strategy using the channel partner, the way that we're all about SMEs and delivering products that really do meet their needs and delivering service standards through those through the partner network is resulting in a very high level of satisfaction. So we see the opportunity to do exactly the same thing with this new base of customers. And there's no shortage of sort of growth expectations around hosted PBX in the current market. This is a study that's been undertaken on the APAC region, showing that there's an expectation of around 19% compounded year on year, looking forward of growth within this virtual PBX phone system market. So in summary, the transaction is a huge shift for the Vonex business, really provides us the scale and size to continue to drive further acquisition activity, as well as continue to concentrate on our organic growth profiles through our direct to SME and our wholesale business with very high customer satisfaction and customer retention strategies in place. So it really is an exciting moment for the business, very transformational in nature. And this transaction is due actually for final completion on Monday next week. So we're looking forward to being able to get on to integrate the business from there. I think that's probably a fair overview for me. So I'll open up to see if there's some questions from anybody out there.
Matt, thanks very much for the presentation. Yeah, let's get to a couple of questions. This goes to the latest acquisition. Does it change your geographic footprint, and where do you see that footprint extending over the year ahead?
It really does. As I sort of detailed in the origins of the Vonex business, the business is very much a Perth-based business, and then coupled with a Queensland-based business to add the telecommunications skill sets over the software and innovation skill sets. What this does is really drives our penetration into New South Wales and Victoria, both from three levels: staff on the ground, new channel partners in those territories, and a high concentration of new SME customers in those territories. So that really gives us, puts us in a very powerful position to maximise our opportunities in those southern states.
Any other acquisitions in the pipeline at this point?
We sort of made a statement around AGM time last year that it was our intention to, engage in a proactive and ongoing acquisition strategy. That is the case. We've engaged TCA Partners, which is Brisbane-based corporate advisory, who's assisting us in that process, and they're acting for us on the buy side. So we're continually looking at targets yeah, we've got targets in mind, and we've got continual active conversations to continue to expand what we're doing, and hopefully expand into the rest of the states and territories in Australia through that campaign.
Okay, Matt. And do you expect the retail element of the direct business to grow to become a more material component of your overall revenue base?
I think we're, comfortable to grow both of those business strategies in that, we've got a direct business and we've got a wholesale business. So it may be that we'll drive both through our acquisition and organic strategies, but I would certainly expect that our direct business would become the lion's share of our group in time.
Matt, thanks very much for the presentation, and thanks for joining us from Vonex.
Pleasure. Thank you.